You've seen the many headlines. You've heard the self-described experts. Global warming is on the brink of exterminating the human race. For more than 20 years, we've had just 1 or 2 years left to take action before it's too late, and yet somehow too late hasn't come yet. Maybe that's because the models are way off, as models often are in science. A new study in the Journal of Climate says the warming effects of carbon dioxide could be exaggerated by 40% or more. That's not a political conclusion, it's a scientific one, though you probably haven't read it in the paper recently for some reason. Why? Judith Curry is president and founder of Climate Forecast Application Network. She's also a climatologist and co-authored the new study. Judith Curry joins us tonight. Professor Curry, thanks for coming on.
Well, Tucker, thank you for inviting me back.
Oh, well, we're grateful to have you, simply because we're told that the science is what matters. We have a new scientific development. It doesn't mean, we're not overdrawing the conclusions from this, but it turns out that the models seem to have been wrong. So why aren't the people who push those models on us owning up to that?
Well, they're starting to recognize that the climate models may be running too hot. In the recent UN assessment in 2013, they raised a concern that the climate models may be running too hot, but that hasn't really changed the narrative about the alarm over this issue.
I guess the reason this is so very significant to ordinary people is huge public policies are based on these models. The amount of the proposed carbon tax, for example, all the ways we're responding to global warming are based on these models. So shouldn't our policymakers be paying close attention to whether they're right or wrong?
Well, yes. The conclusions that have been drawn from these models have been way overconfident, and they ignore so many things. Apart from the climate models running too hot, the 21st century predictions ignore all sorts of things about possible changes to the sun or volcanic eruptions or changes to the ocean circulations. They're just pushing a very simple storyline that climate change is driven solely by how much carbon dioxide we emit into the atmosphere. And that's a big oversimplification of the real situation.
But isn't that the opposite of science? I mean, isn't science allowing the data to form your conclusions rather than try to superimpose your conclusions on the data?
Well, yeah. I mean, nature has conducted the experiment for us. Since about 1850, carbon dioxide has increased by 40%, and during that same time, temperatures have warmed by about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you look at that data and combine it with what we know about other climatic factors, the result we obtained is that the sensitivity of climate to carbon dioxide is about, significantly smaller than what the climate models are telling us.
Well, that seems like the headline, but it's not being written, unfortunately. Judith Curry, thank you for your honesty and your bravery. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.